Um, yeah, I'll have it in here. I'll get you some.
All right.
Ladies.
I think I should go with allergies, and all of a sudden I'll just randomly start like sneezing after sneeze after sneeze.
My nurse started yesterday with the
Has she always had allergies? And how old is she?
You do know we live on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to roll that off, put it to the side, whatever. You ain't gonna put no toilet paper on my table, please. You want some more? Look at all the niggas. Okay. All right. You hear the music, will be Facebook Live. Anybody see it? I see it. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Ear to the Ground 197. I'm on a special Sunday edition. Y'all probably seen all them folks in the background and stuff like that. You know, that's Kalista. She always coming up with something new and disrupting my broadcast and my program and what have you. But we want to thank y'all for taking the time out on this Sunday morning to tune in to a very special edition. But before we get started, I've got to thank our sponsors, Miss Tracy Davis of Tracy's Sweet Touch Production, as well as Carlos and Andrea Franklin of Blackstone Bookstore and Cultural Center, located on West Michigan Avenue, right across the street from the Public Library, and including Kip and Athena Johnson, the songstress, also co-owners in there. So like I said, we got a special Sunday edition right up in here. And we entitled this segment, Our Community Reads, Reclaiming Our Future, Our Children's Future, excuse me. Yeah. And Kalista came up with that, right? And I got some very lovely ladies in Sunday morning. I got my main man, Brother Bryan. Hey, sis, what's going on, Tracy? Good to see you tuning in already. See if that YouTube feed is up there for me, sis, to be on mine. And I got my main man, Brother Bryan, up in here, who is not unfamiliar to Ear to the Ground 197, Ear to the Ground. They got my studio smelling real good. It's smelling up in this area. Brown, it's smelling good up in here, man. Got these pretty ladies and stuff like that. So, Kalista, before we get started, why don't you introduce everybody who you got up here in my studio today, if you don't mind, ma'am.
Okay, I will. Good morning, everybody.
Let me pull that microphone up to you a little bit, if you don't mind. Okay. Oh, almost hit you.
That was on purpose.
No, it might have been. Okay. In fact, let me pull it down just a little bit. And the whole thing. Yeah. Okay. I don't want to. You got such a lovely face this morning with that foxy brown, red wig afro on. I don't know if it's a wig or not. Get me in trouble. It's Sunday. I got to do stuff liven up because we kind of tight in this morning. It's hot and stuff. Okay, all right. We're gonna work. Okay, all right.
Okay, so to my immediate right, I have Ms. Shawn Woodset, who is with the Family Learning Institute, and she also comes and helps educate our children at the summer camp in Superior Township, which is done by Washtenaw County. And then to her right, we have Deanna McLemore. I always want to mess up your last name. And she is the co-founder of Bottles and Backpacks which probably everybody in the community knows, but probably are not used to seeing her beautiful face.
Right.
So
Okay.
she is. Okay. And then we have Brittany Wimberly, who is the daughter of Angela and Harold Wimberly of Christian Love Fellowship. She also works for Scarlett, and she is the site coordinator at the Washtenaw County Playground Summer Camp in Superior Township.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And then we have Eric Brown, who I know he does the 5K for literacy, and he's doing it like nationwide. Like he has so many 5Ks popping up, and he's passionate about literacy. I thought I was passionate about literacy. Yeah, his quotes and his determination, they leave me in the dust. So
okay, all right. You look like my friend Kenny Hardy.
Kenny Hardy?
Yeah.
My uncle?
You look like my friend. Hold the microphone up there a little bit. Yeah, and you look like my friend Tony Hardy.
My uncle.
And you look like my friend Eddie Hardy.
Uncle Eddie.
Oh, okay, all right, okay. And you had a theater put in your basement at your house. Didn't you?
I did.
Right. The sound theater, right? Real nice with the sideways. Yeah. I used to be wondering how I be knowing all this stuff, right? Because I'm the one who did the basement.
That's funny. Small world.
Right, exactly. Okay, all right. Now the lady with the mask on, I don't know nothing about, so I can't say nothing about her, right? Okay. But Kalista, what we doing this morning? Okay.
Okay, so today, you know, every step of the Our Community journey has just brought more things to light. And dealing with families, you know, working for YCS, just seeing kids.
What's YCS? What's YCS?
Ypsilanti Community Schools.
Okay, there we go.
Which I work for Ypsilanti Community Schools. I've been there since 2019.
Okay.
There are so many pieces to this literacy thing. I had a young man, I did an event with Katrina Dowdy. She has an organization called Gas It Up Fitness. And there was a young man there probably going into the 4th grade. And I asked him, what was his name? I was writing his name on something. He couldn't spell his name. Okay. He's going to 4th grade. And just coming into situations like that, it makes me realize before our children even go to kindergarten, we have to start creating learners. Okay. We meaning the families, the people who decided I'm going to have this child. Okay. We have to start cultivating readers. We have to start cultivating a child that can go to school and learn, instead of just sending them on the bus and then just being like, well, they're there for 7 hours. It's up to the school system to teach them. Right. Yes, the school plays an important part, but there's a whole big piece that I think even me, myself, did not understand that we play in this. We have to create learners. Okay. And I just want to talk about what that looks like. And I just thought that these amazing people could contribute to that, because we all have pieces to the puzzle. No organization, no school system can do it by themselves. Okay, all right. And I think you got some great people out here. Somebody out here by the name of Starletta Shimwell is out there. Yeah. Okay. Also, Dr. Elena Zachary Ross is out in the audience, just in case. Okay. Hi, Dr. Elena. Okay. And she said YHS is the greatest school district also. And then she wrote in here, she says, thank you all, you are amazing. Then somebody wrote in here, said it's not pronounced kindergarten, it's pronounced kindergarten. Let me leave you alone. You see, you say we're gonna do that today? All right, okay, we're gonna do that today. Okay, all right. I'm gonna swing. Like we talking about literacy, ain't we? Ain't we talking about literacy? Okay, right. You wanted to come on the show on Sunday. You asked for it on Sunday, right? On Sunday. All right. I'm gonna swing all the way over to my brother Bryan. Let them ladies, you know, you didn't tell them who show it was, did you? Okay, all right. I'm gonna swing all the way over to brother Bryan. Torchio Feasters out there this morning running for we got all kinds. Y'all done brought some folks out here. You get what I mean? Right, on Sunday afternoon. I'm gonna swing over to brother Brown, then I'm gonna come back around this way. Okay, brother Eric Brown, like I said, he is a regular on Ear to the Ground 197, and most of the time we're dealing with political issues, and those are the things we talk about: white supremacy, racism, and stuff like that. But right now we're talking about literacy, okay, if you will. And that's my man. And one thing I love about this brother and our other brother, Ryan Griffin, and when y'all may not see this, we can get into heated discussions
We get into name calling and oh yeah, yeah. But we remain friends and we remain professional. Right. You get what I'm saying? And that's what we need people like that in our lives, that we can be on diametrically oppositional to each other. You see, I'm pretty good with that. Diametrically oppositional. Okay, right. And still get along for the mission, right? Yeah. So I'm gonna swing over to Brother Brown for a minute. Brother Brown, tell us about the 5K run just for a minute, okay?
Well, the 5K was something I created 5 years ago after reading about, piggyback on what Kalisa was saying. A fourth grader don't know how to spell his name. I found out about a 12th grader that was reading at a second grade level. And you ask yourself, how could this person have been passed along all this way? Yes, he was an athlete. Okay. And he missed out on Division I scholarships and everything, but the deafening silence and the lack of outrage from the Black community will bother me more than anything else. And 3 months later, the California Department of Education released a report. 75% of Black boys K through 12 were not reading at their grade level. 5 years later, 75% of Black boys in the state where Black people only make up 5-6% of the population. So those type of things are unacceptable to me. But it's up to us, Black people. People's like, oh, y'all talking about Black people. Well, right, okay, right. So I think we have to be intentional, very intentional about the educational process of our kids. I mean, we talk about the school to prison pipeline, but we can prevent that. Now, the one thing, and I just posted this on Facebook before I came into the studio, 8 people were shot in Detroit last night. There's 20 bent, 1 died. And any politician that tells you that they can reduce crime, don't vote for them because they can't do anything about people problem. Okay. Policy issues they can address. People problem you can't change. But when it comes to education, reading, literacy, I mean, I post them every single day on my Facebook page about literacy and or reading, because the gateway to success is reading. I think I've shared this story with you, Bryan, as well as Ryan. I was considered a good student, exceptional student, but when I was in the 9th grade, getting ready to go to the 9th grade, you do the reading comprehension. I was in the program out of Cranbrook, and I found out I was only reading at a 7th grade level. My intentionality from that point on through my 9th grade year was reading the thesaurus, reading a dictionary, reading as much as I could. When I took that test going into the 10th grade, I tested a freshman year, first semester level, because it was intentional to me to say I'm better than what I tested at in the 9th grade. Okay. We as a people have to teach our kids to be better than what you are expected of from society. And that society being the majority race, you got to prove them wrong by any means, and Malcolm X phrase, by any means necessary. Right. And that's our responsibility as Black people. WEB talked about the talented 10th. We are that talented 10th. Success is measured subjectively or objectively, but at the same time, those that have some form of success owe it to those behind them to bring them up as well. Okay, all right, I like that. Now I heard of brontosaurus and a stegosaurus, but I never had a thesaurus. Okay. What? Okay. Your folks okay, all right. Bro Brown, I'm gonna ask you just to lean back just a little, and Sister Wimble, if you can lean just a little bit, because I want people to see. No, I just want people to see you, because we fitting in kind of this morning. You get what I mean? Small studio, we want to get in. Sister Brittany Wimberly, Harold, your daddy?
Yes, he is.
Okay, all right. I get what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm just checking. And you know what? Let's see. Okay, yeah. We battery's a little low and everything. I'm gonna do something. If you don't mind, Brother Brown, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and talk. Share with us who you are, Sister Wimberly, because his battery's running a little low, and I'm gonna do something. Okay, go ahead while I move around. Okay.
Share who you are.
Yeah, who you are.
My battery running low.
Yours.
Okay. I am Brittany Wimberly, of course, the daughter of Harold and Angela Wimberly, as we stated several times this evening. I work with Kalisa at the summer camp, and she invited me on here just to talk. She was inspired by things that I do at the camp, which I just thought was like normal, like it just came naturally to me. I am in the education field, going to school for social work. I not only want to reach the kids, but I want to reach the families.
Yes.
So that's why I decided to be a part of this.
Okay, all right, okay. All right, so this is what we're gonna do for right now, okay? Brother Brown, remember what did I tell y'all before when the studio started, when the show started? If y'all see me doing something very unprofessional, don't worry about it. This is my show, I do everything. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna pass this microphone simply around because Kalista told me something else was gonna happen and something else didn't. You get what I mean? Yeah. Hold on to that microphone for me. I know I'm in the way of the camera and stuff like that, but we're gonna get this fixed. Okay, go ahead. And Sister Dieta.
Yes.
I'm going to pronounce it correctly, right? If you would share where you fit into this situation right here that Kalista done put us into. All right.
Okay, am I using this one? This one.
You use that one, right? Use the one that she has right there. And I'm gonna move around and I'm gonna go over there and find another USB plug to plug this in. We're gonna get it together. Okay. All right, go ahead. All right.
Okay, as Kalista said when she introduced me, I'm Dieta McLemore, co-owner of Bottles and Backpacks Child Development Center. I actually have no idea how we ended up connected.
Meeting Justin Harper.
Justin.
Okay.
Okay.
Justin Harper.
Justin.
Because I'm like, I meet them, Kalista. You gotta meet them. Did you email them? Did you email them?
And I appreciate Justin for that connection because I don't think we had met prior to that.
Mm-hmm.
So but I'm excited to be here to discuss more information about parents and students, because as you said, our passion is not only the children but also the parents as well. Because what we've learned through being in the business of childcare, and it does take a village, and we have to work hand in hand with the parents at home every day. Sometimes we used to joke about there were some chairs that sat outside of our classroom at Ford, and they ended up being called like some counseling chairs, because we ended up talking to parents in the evenings after they dropped their parents off, and it was many tears and many days of hearing the stories, and then you understand the child so much better when you know the foundation and where they're coming from every day when they enter those doors. So
okay, all right. And that masked lady over there, okay? Who is that masked man, you know? Ain't that what he said on the Lone Ranger? Who is that masked man? So who is that masked lady over there?
I'm honored to be here, and I want to thank each and every one of you all. I started teaching in 1985. I've taught kindergarten through adult education, mostly languages, but I've also taught newspaper and English as a second language. And I retired from the Ann Arbor Public Schools in 2017. And I have brought some of my skills to the Family Learning Institute, which gives away free books, gives free tutoring, and has been in business, the Doris Sperling Institute, since the 1980s, I do believe. And I've just recently become part of that organization the past 3 years. But more specifically about our children, I've led many an organization and Black Parent Support Group, which the Ann Arbor Public Schools used to have. We used to have a multicultural coordinator. There are many things that address specifically the issues of the children and the schools, so they weren't left behind. But the biggest thing I'm going to say, and I'll be quiet, is that we have to be advocates for one another. When a parent has to go in to talk to administration, when children have to be dealt with, who are their advocates? Who are there to help them? And your literature-rich environment means, does your child see you reading? Does your child sit in your lap with you, and do you read books? And it's very simple. It doesn't have to cost money. We can all do that. So that's a little bit I have to share. Thank you very much.
Okay, let me get this. Like I said, I'm doing some things right here behind the scene. Okay, all right, okay. She the professional one. She trying to sound it all. Look, sounding all sedity and everything. And we want to thank everybody. Okay.
That's me.
Okay, I see what I'm saying. Okay, all right. Dr. Ross says you guys are amazing. I support all that you do. I'm here. Call me anytime. And since you're gonna put yourself out there like that, Dr. Ross, I had you on the show early in the year. I need you to come back. I would like for you to come back before school starts and share what's going on in Ypsilanti Community Schools, and how can persons such as myself, who is a grassroots guy, grassroots organizations, if you will, because it's going to take an entire village.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
As much as you guys are educators, and we do have a literacy problem, and Brother Brown has really noted well, and some of the root causes and stuff like that. And we know that people just can't read just because they don't have the ability to read or to know how to read. There's a systemic things that occur in the house. You get what I mean? And those things have to be addressed if we expect our children to engage in actually reading books, you know, while their minds are being bombarded and consumed with electronic media, the radio, the internet, and that is, Dr. Ross says she ain't scared. Okay, you know, right? She know me, but anyway, but there's so many obstacles out there that are hindering our children from having the wherewithal to read. You get what I mean? Let me just say, a burning desire to read a book.
Yes.
You know, if you can look up there, you see I've got books all everywhere up in my studio, and I got literature right here. And I'm not embarrassed to say this. Hey, brother Anthony Morgan, Kalisa Anthony Morgan says hello to you. Okay, okay. I'm not ashamed to say this, but it's not a badge of honor, right? I'm a product in Ypsilanti High School, Ypsilanti schools at the time. And I stopped attending school at the age of 12, 13, 14 years old. I can't remember. And I started hanging out in the woods. You know where the woods was at, Kalista. And that's where I hung out at, right? But I graduated from Ypsilanti High School with just enough to walk across the stage, if you will. My senior year, I recall very well, I had 4 or 5 physical education classes. And in the morning, I went to RCTC to take auto body, okay? But I graduated, I walked across that street, that stage, excuse me, because my mother engaged me in reading at the age of 4 years of age, right? I could read at 4 years of age. And I recall when we had the typing classes, when typing was still happening in Ypsilanti Community Schools, they gave you a reading proficiency test. And I was reading at the level of a college senior in 7th grade because I had this voracious appetite for reading, right? But my reading skills allowed me and allows me to navigate life to this day, right? Even though I don't have the letters after my name, I don't have the degrees of higher education, if you will, but I have the ability to read very, very well. And that allowed me also to navigate myself to the prison system, right? Being able to read, you get what I mean? I remember brothers coming up to me in prison asking me, what do this mean right here? I don't understand. I said, I mean, your ass go to jail for life. You know what I'm saying? You need to understand what's going on. And you sign some papers and agree to some things because you didn't understand what you were reading, right? Okay, so it's very important that if you have a basic skill of reading, right? But I'm gonna ask Sister Deanna, right? How can we make reading more appetizing? Does that make any sense? You know, just to have a hunger for reading, like a same hunger that you would have for playing PlayStation, Fortnite. Yeah. How can we do that? And I know you had bottles and backpack and stuff like that, and you catching them at an early age. So what is your institution, if you will? What are you doing or are you doing anything at that level? Share with us what's going on at that level, okay?
So at the level of infancy and toddlers, it's very easy to get their attention.
It's easy?
It's very easy to get their attention because they love anything that's coming out of your mouth. Anything that, as long as you're engaging with them, they're interested. If you're making eye contact, I remember when my children were little, I could be reading my mail. And if I read my mail with inflection and I'm sitting there.
Inflection.
I know.
See, there y'all go, right?
So first off,
okay.
You with that big, right?
Okay, all right.
Okay. Because I already knew.
You knew I was coming, wasn't you? Well, okay, right.
So the nerves already like, okay, let me try to watch everything that comes out.
We try. This is a show. We trying to keep the folks engaged on Sunday. All right. Okay. Right.
Okay.
Let me take my
okay.
All right.
Let's strike that.
Let's strike that. Okay. All right.
As long as you're changing the tone in your voice.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
and that'll that'll keep their interest, regardless to what you're reading.
Okay.
And I like what you said about the environment and having an environment that promotes literacy.
Right.
I think seeing adults read does help with that, because they're mimicking everything adults do. It's fun to play Fortnite because they see adults playing Fortnite. That's why it's fun. Everything that adults do, copying adults, it's fun. So if they're around and they're immersed in seeing different levels of reading being done with adults around them, with teenagers around them, with children older than them around them, they don't want to do it.
Okay.
They don't want to do it.
So we have this thing that we say is that children are products of their environment and they bear our scars. So the environment at the end is what you're sharing with me, is that what you just said, what well, y'all got Dr. Ross on here. She lighting the screen up and stuff like that. Watch it. Dr. Ross, I thought you was in church. But anyway, you just said something that was very hit real home. You said that the children are actually mimicking their environment. So if they see mom and or dad, big brother, uncle, cousin playing the Nintendo games, you get what I mean? Fortnite is what Kalista said. They have a tendency more to engage in that activity themselves, is what you're saying, right? So I'm gonna ask Sister Sean over there. I'm gonna catch her because I see she don't think I can see over there playing on her phone over here, but I can see it right here on this screen because the camera over there, right? Okay. And so how can we get the parents more engaged in doing more productive type of things, if you will, that are more encouraging and geared towards education? How can we affect the family to make the family home life more engaging? You get what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because what we're talking about is a lot of, we're talking about systemic, I'm gonna call it straight up and down, systemic racism, which is a product of capitalism, right? Which leads to impoverished conditions. So those are some of the things that we have to deal with at home, right? But if we're gonna look at our children's future and we're gonna have to treat this thing holistically, we just can't sit up in here and give a child a book and expect them to read when they're hungry. We can't expect them to read when they're cold because the gas and electricity is out. We can't expect them to read when they're in an unhealthy atmosphere, being harassed by relatives, that predator brother, that predator mama boyfriend come in who they call, and then expect them to perform in school, right? When the home life, right? So we're not just simply talking about children not reading. We're talking about addressing the problem holistically. What you say on that?
That is so heavy, but isn't that the village? And isn't that about communication?
Yeah.
And I don't want to talk about the fear factor. I want to talk about the faith factor.
Okay.
Meaning, how do we overcome, and we all get together, we have to accompany each other. So one thing is a Baha'i, that's what I am. I have to do service work because that's part of what I do. I will go around my neighborhood, give out books, sit on the porches and read with the kids. But what are we doing to help each other? How can I help everybody in this room? How can we help each other? How do we help the parents? We have to be there. I have to physically be able to accompany you. So did you reach out to somebody about that predator person? Sometimes we have to play everything low key. I totally get it. I understand it. But our miracles, our blessings are our children. But if you don't believe that, if the child is a nuisance, instead of a blessing, the miracle that the child is, I loved my children, teaching, education, all levels. What did I do? I connected with the parents as much as I could. I tried to do different, bringing in community activities, wraparound services. I know Kalista, everybody here can speak to that. But that's a multidimensional question, and it's a kaleidoscopic view.
Okay, kaleidoscope. Hold it. There you go again. But she didn't learn enough. Right. Kaleidoscopic. Right.
Well, to be honest with you, just
see, we were speaking colloquial English in here.
Okay, whatever kind of
English. Okay.
Let me help.
Okay, all right. Kaleidoscopic.
That means just try to look at everything from different viewpoint, many viewpoints. I'm giving you like
okay. Right. Pass that around, brother.
I ain't scared of people.
I ain't scared of people. We have fun. Y'all, you fun to have it on Sunday. You wanted to? Did she want to come? Look, she wanted to come on my show on Sunday, right? When I'm supposed to be out there cutting my grass, right? You know what I'm saying? Watching the football game.
A lot of people
And
are watching.
And you're right. You know what I'm saying? It's like y'all do. Let me just say that you ladies and Eric, y'all have got a lot of people's attention. You get what I'm saying? So we thank you on that. But you see, this is, but Kalista know me, so she know how I am. But she wanted to have it on Sunday. Okay. So anyway, Bro Brown, that collider, I can't even say it. Kaleidoscopic view, right? You got the 5K literacy run, right? With the 5K literacy run, okay. Dr. Ross says we learn from our students and parents no matter how they show up. I think is what it said. It scrolled off of there. But thank you for those comments, Dr. Ross. The 5K literacy run. Okay, break it down for brothers such as myself, right? How is running going to affect? That's affect, not effect. Okay, affect our children and encourage them to read, to learn. 5K literacy run. You get what I mean? And I'm trying to put those words together, 5K, 5 kilometers, right? Literacy, read and run. How is you making this thing happen, man? What's going on out there with the run? What can we expect to see? You feel me? Fill in the blanks, bro.
Well, it's an event no different than the Susan G. Komen. The Susan G. Komen 5K was about bringing people together as it relates to the breast awareness.
Okay.
And at that event, they have numerous outreach organizations on site to meet people where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
People believe in supporting causes. So this cause is to bring the opportunity for literacy organizations because people may not know about them. I mean, Detroit has 2 literacy adult programs, one on the west side, one on the east side, that is so underutilized. This will give them an opportunity to be at the event, let the community know that they exist.
Okay.
The Detroit Public Library, main library, they closed down their literacy technology department because it was underutilized.
Mm-hmm.
So these organizations that exist have to be out there for the people to know about them.
Okay.
People like 5Ks. It gives people an opportunity to also get some exercise in. And most people walk it as opposed to running. They walking and talking. During that walking and talking process, they give people more ideas to come up with, the groups of people. But the key component is to bring these organizations to meet people where they're at. There's a stigma when it comes to mental health. There's a stigma when it comes to literacy. People feel more comfortable talking to people at an event that they don't have to worry about being judged because those people are there to assist them, to provide them with an opportunity to better themselves. Literacy organizations throughout the country, they provide opportunities for people to get their GED, provide opportunities for people to learn about trades, because everybody's not going to college. We all know
right.
So it gives people hope and also gives people an opportunity to know what's out there to help them out. It's no different than the big thing now that's going on is expungement fairs. I started that, years ago when I was president of Detroit chapter Kappas. I did expungement fair a couple of years in a row. People have to have that relief from hopelessness to give them hope. And when you give people hope, that should change the trajectory, shift the paradigm as well as move the needle. And it's about moving the needle. And by having a 5K, and it has caught on because it's in 10 cities this year, based on my efforts, based on my passion, based on putting the word out there to let people know this is a crisis. It's not a problem, it's a crisis. And we can't keep having our people who've been here over 400 years be at the bottom of the totem pole for people to have to come here. I mean, in Detroit right now, Black males are behind Hispanics and Middle Easterners, and English is their second language. That should not be. And then you have a situation where the adult literacy rate is 47%. So in an upcoming op-ed that will be in the Detroit News, the author of the op-ed, the city of Detroit, trying to challenge her on the 47%. Well, the last recorded number was from 2017. If you say things have gotten worse since the pandemic, what the hell are you challenging? You have to face the reality. One of the things about our community, and I love this phrase from A Few Good Men, we cannot handle the truth.
Right.
We have to get the truth out there and let people know this is a problem. And if you don't want to be a part of the solution, keep being a part of the problem, but enough of us will come up with solutions to fix this crisis.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, bro. Broke that down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Sister Wimberly. And the reason why I call Sister Wimberly out is because, as I stated before, I know your family well, right? And then I'm not singling out the family. Let's make this way. But I know that you're a Southside Ypsilanti product of, if you will. You know, I don't know if you actually lived on the South Side, but I didn't know your mom, but I knew everybody else. You know, growing up on Madison Street in Ypsilanti, and I don't know if you're a product of Ypsilanti Community Schools or not. I just don't know that. But I know that your family is from the South Side, right? And the South Side has, I'm gonna say it straight up now, it has a stigma, unfair stigma also too, whereas they think that the people from the South Side of Ypsilanti were either dope fiends, dope dealers, crooks, can't read, uneducated, but some of the best people in the world are products of the South Side of Ypsilanti. One person I can just throw out there, what a multi-billionaire is John Barfield, who I knew on a personal level, right? Professional, the head coach of Ypsilanti Community Basketball Schools right now, Charles Ramsey. You get what I'm saying? I can throw Fred Cofield on a professional level. A guy who I went to school with, Randy Reeves, he's an attorney. Enos Renee Greer, she was the head of social work of Eastern Michigan University. Those are people I went to school with, and I can go on and on and on, right? But you were bringing out a lot of information about Detroit, but let's keep it close to home, and that's why I'm singing out you, good sister. The obstacles that are in our community. Can I ask you, how were you able to navigate and attain the level of education that you are at today, that you're in a position now to give back and reach back to help those children who have a problem navigating reading and understand how to read? I know that's a lot, you get what I'm saying? I'll be trying to figure stuff out when I go on, you know what I'm saying?
Well, my mom is the youngest of the Hardings, and she did grow up on the South Side. I personally did not. My father actually gained custody when I was 9 years old, so I came from the streets of Cleveland, Ohio. But because I had such strong parents, that made me hungry. Seeing my parents work hard, and even my dad, like, it's so funny, everybody in my family now call me the JR, like that's my license plate. I'm Little Harold, like I want to give back to the community. I had my kids when I was 19 years old, 19 and 20 back to back. And I grew up wanting to play school, and I'm the teacher, and let's read, even if I was just playing with myself. Education was important to me because it was instilled in me. You know, my parents don't come in the house with nothing less than a B. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm National Honor Society. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I was an athlete, but I wasn't that athlete that was skating on the line just enough because they need me on the team. I'm really, let's do this on the bus on the way to the game with my teammates, you know, and things like that. So education was important to me, so I made it important to my kids. At 34 years old, I decided once again to try going back to school. And in all honesty, I felt like my kids seeing me do that, it helped them in school. My son was a freshman this year, and he was an honor roll student with a 3.6 GPA. And everybody like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. He plays basketball, he does travel AAU. How do you find the time? We're gonna find the time, because if you can't find the time to educate yourself, you can't find the time to play ball. I'm also a basketball coach at Scarlett Middle School, and my philosophy is you're a student athlete. Which word comes first? Student. So in order to even sit on my bench and be on my team, you have to give forth this effort. Also, being a young parent, a lot of these people that are on the South Side or in the green.
Well, let's say we can talk about the Sugarbrook, we can talk about West Willow, you get what I mean, Apple Ridge community. So, because the problems are similar wherever you go, you know what I'm saying? Right. So right. So yeah, I didn't mean to disrupt that, but I didn't want to seem like we was just singling out the South Side. Right.
No, right. I guess my biggest thing is just being an example. I'm that young person that have kids. I'm not just gonna go and tell a family this is what you need to do. Hey, let's do it together. You know what I'm saying? And it can be free. Like, I don't know who was saying it. when I was younger, I took my kids to the library. We're gonna pick out some books. This is what we're doing for the week. We're gonna read together. You read to me, I read to you. Reading the mail. All right, we racing to the mailbox. Let's get the mail. You know, you gotta make it fun and make it, you know, something that the kids do want to do. Because if not, it's not going to be important to them. I also did let's read and do so much work before we can get on our tablets, or because I'm not gonna lie, I was a young parent, I did buy my kids the iPods and the tablets and things like that, but education came first before I just set them in front of it to babysit them.
Yeah, well, you know, it's funny that you talk about the iPads and tablets, and we talk about the PlayStation games, but we're leaving from out of, at one time we were in an agricultural society, then we moved into industrial society. Now we're moving into the age of information. You get what I mean? We're no longer writing on cave walls. We're no longer scratching on stone tablets. We're no longer writing papyrus. We're no longer, you know, in the 1500s when Gutenberg created the printing press and we got into mass production of reading. So we're no longer reading from out of books. We are reading from out of, this right here is our tablets, right? But how do we navigate? And I'm gonna ask this to Sister Deanna, right? So how do we navigate from writing down on pencil and paper and ink and paper? Now we're going to everything digitized, and then keeping our children attracted to education, if you will, as opposed to veering off and going into you get what I mean, to the other things out there, right? So, and let me say this before I get this, right, is because I'm the general manager organization called Supreme Fellows Incorporated, right? And we deal with returning citizens. We also help with our elderly, and we also help with our juveniles navigating the prison system and situations that they have in school. And they're really hard. It's hard, you get what I mean? It's hard to do, and I'm first to tell you, you get what I'm saying? And you have to have a different level of passion to say that you enjoy working with those type of those situations, you get what I mean? But we got to catch them at an early age. We got to catch them at an early age, and you're catching them at that early age. So reading, how are you navigating from pencil and paper and onto this iPhone? You get what I mean? To make sure that they're not going over there to YouTube. You get what I mean? So, I just got to hit you with that. You know?
That is a constant battle. I'll just be honest with you. Right now, we don't allow phones at the center. We still have students. We have had parents come in with 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, and they want us to give them the phone. Like if she starts to cry, just give her the phone.
Right.
No.
Okay. All right.
No, that can't happen. It's a struggle with our summer camp students because they come in with their phones and they want us to allow them to have that. We have a little bucket, put it in the bucket, you know, deposit it when you come here. We also have U of M coming in, and they're going to be speaking to our summer camp about the dangers of being on social media, Facebook, and being virtual majority of their time and not having a physical connection with human beings. I talk to my children all the time about the importance of knowing how to have human contact. You know, it's real easy to say certain things through text. It's real easy to say certain things that you might not have the courage to say to a person in person, face to face. You also need to know how to read body language. You know, you need to know how to be able to tell the inflection of somebody's voice when they might be telling the truth, when they might not. When you're reading it, you can't tell. So those are things that are important to talk about, which is why we have U of M coming out to speak with the children about it. I was going to say too, going back to parenting and things. For one, I want Brittany on her journey. I remember she came to us when we first opened on the South Side, when she first was starting off her education career, and she worked with us for a little while she was doing both. And you can always see in parents and in young mothers when they have the yearning for more. And I saw that in you early on, and you can see, and I really am I haven't seen her since,
All right.
since she moved on, you know, with her life and career. And I want to just say I'm so proud of you and proud of the educator that you've become, the mother that you are. You know, that's a beautiful thing to see. And in a community so small like this, you do get a chance to bump back into the children that you once taught or the parents. And being able to have a connection, which was what we try to do all the time, is have a connection with our parents. Because once we build a connection and a relationship with the parents, then it's easier to be able to reach the child. And that's one of the main goals, because they also get comfortable. They are able to relax and be able to talk to you and let you know some things that they might not have been able to say before and admit it to. And I do think that we're coming into a time where the parents are starting to want to do different.
Okay.
They want to learn more. It was a point in time where it was like, go with that. That was the response I would get. And now it's like, Miss Dieta, how can we do better? Can you help me find, you know what I mean? So that yearning is out there now more than it used to be. I will say that.
Okay, I like that. Okay, now we're cooking with grease. Sister Sean, right? Diata said something that really stuck out to me. And what she said was that positive affirmation, right? How important it is to give those positive affirmations. And
right one over here.
I know what I'm doing, Kalista. She Eric, why she always know what I'm doing? Sister Sean, go ahead. Positive affirmations. Okay, all right.
That's a constant, and I can ask as a witness, Brittany, you say Sister Brittany, and Miss Kay, as she's known in camp. We do songs and affirmations. You write them down, you try to believe in them. It's a process. It's a lifelong process. You can be 5, 15, 50, 80. I have friends in their 80s. So as far as affirmations go, it's a real thing. It's not a joke. It's not hype. It's not ooh. But I tell you what, when you call a kid a bad name, I don't want to say it on the air.
Go ahead. But I know what you're saying. You don't have to say the name, but talk about
down to those babies.
Okay, right.
They're babies.
Say that.
They're gonna grow up believing that and not. But see, then you're gonna say a parent does the best that they can do. So how can I help that parent? How can we? It's a we. This is about we. This is all about we. And I wanted to just say one thing that's a little off is that I do want to recognize the brothers and sisters suffering in the institutions. And I want to recognize that and how we have criminalized addictions to put more young folks, our young babies, brothers and sisters, 18, 19, 20. When you get older, everybody's younger. In the institutions in prison. So I don't know, this is all wrapped up, but thank you.
No, you're good. You're in there.
Can I just
because I was going to ask the question, Kalista, and I was coming to you. No, you got your own microphone, right? Yeah.
Hey, she just wanted all.
Yeah, thank you. You see, now you see what I'm talking about. Now you see, she got my, she won't. Now you see it, right? Now you see why I'm on it. Y'all thought I was picking on. I wasn't. Kalista, on that positive affirmation, because Sister Sean didn't want to say that word, and you're in the middle schools, am I correct? In the elementary up in here?
Yeah.
And we was talking about media, social media, be it the television, be it the radio, be it music, rap music. I hate to single out rap music because what they call gangster rap is such a small portion of actual rap, but is the one that they use the most to blast it out. Okay. And so I don't want to say, people say rap music. No, you got to listen to other artists to hear some other things. Okay. But that word, I know the word she didn't want to use, you know what I'm saying? I know the word that she didn't want to use. And I know she didn't want to use, but those names that both mother and father call our young men and women, our children. Somebody's texting me right now, right? And you hear that. It's almost become, those words, a term of endearment.
So the parents think.
So you get what I mean? And I've seen parents call little babies bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I've seen fathers call the sons little nigga. Yeah. Get your little badass in there. Woo, woo, woo. And Sister Sean was talking about positive affirmations. I wanted to throw that way. I was coming your way with it anyway, but go ahead and go where you was at with that, you know.
So words are powerful. I'm a word fanatic. I love quotes. That's why I'm always stalking Eric's page, because he has the most beautiful quotes about literacy and reading. And I'll share this, and if by chance this mother is watching, I'm saying this in love, but when I saw this up close and personal, it just hit my heart, and it just was like, we have to do something as a village. I had some books. Sonny Pittman, who works with Toys for Tots, has gifted me a whole lot of books. And after work on Thursday, I just was riding around Danbury Green, and when I saw kids outside, I was acting like a book dealer, not a drug dealer. And I was just like, you want some books? Like I had all these books in my back seat and in my trunk, popping my trunk, literally like just out there like I was selling CDs. And and I came upon a student that went to Erickson, and he has been a challenge in the classroom he was in. But when he saw me, hey, Miss K, and he was my guy. Miss K, you gotta go over here and get him some books. He was on his bike. Miss K, okay, follow me. It's some kids over here, right? So I went to this one corner, and it was probably 2 moms and some kids outside. The one mom went and got another mom, and so it ended up being 3 moms and probably about 6 kids.
Okay. And
so they coming over and they looking at the books. The little ones are really excited, like the 3 and 4 and 5-year-olds. They really, oh my gosh, you know. It was one young man who was probably, I want to say maybe 4th grade. I want to put him in like 4th or 5th grade. I said, you want to come get a book? I don't like reading. I said, you don't like reading? I said, what reading never did to you? I said, why you don't even want to come look for me? I said, no, I don't want a book. An adult, I don't know if it was his mother, turned to him and grabbed a book and said, come get this with your illiterate ASS. Loud. My heart just sank. And I looked at him. Now, at first, he had a little slight smile when we was going back and forth. What reading ever, you know, the door was opening. Come get this with your illiterate ASS. If you read more, you would probably know what that means. He came and got the book because he's gonna be obedient. How do you think he's gonna show up in education? How do you think he's going to think about reading as he gets older unless something crashes into his journey? And that's the type of stuff that I'm talking about. Words are powerful. And like she said, when you're dealing with your kids, like anything coming from you, they want your approval, they want your love, they want all of that. So before we can ask them to go to school and be sponges and become these amazing students, guess whose responsibility it is to help create learners? That's mama, daddy, granddaddy, uncle, sister. And that same day, I came across another group, and the mom, she just moved here, and it was her and her son, and she said, we read all the time, and every night they're creating stories, and I love hearing that, right? Some other kids came out, and I have the picture. One of the boys looks like, hey, but this big, the book was bigger than him. He was determined to get that chapter book. I kept trying to give him a picture book. Nope. He kept going for that one book. I don't know what it was. I was like, okay, somebody a little older than him, I want to say this boy was probably about 6. He saw him get a chapter book. He wanted a chapter book. Then a young lady who was probably 5th grade, 6th grade, what you want that book for? You can't read. And I looked at her, and in the words of Taylor Adams, who was a 4th grade teacher at Erickson, I had to tap into my inner Taylor, and I looked at her and I said, I said, if he can't, what could you do to help? And she just, I could read it to him.
Real simple.
And I said, can you do that for me? She said, okay. I said, thank you. We have to change the way that we conversate with our children. And I know that you may be dealing with all kinds of stuff. I can only imagine. I can't say I know, but I can only imagine how many things you're dealing with, and you frustrated and you irritated. They didn't ask to be here. I promise you, not now one of them kids tapped on your uterus and asked you to give birth. And we gotta step up and do better. We because they go to school and then we want them to sit still for how many hours are we in school? 7? And we want the teachers to be miracle workers. But we don't want to do nothing. We want to still blast rap music that's doing all kind of stuff to our kids' minds because it's doing stuff to ours.
It is, right.
What is our responsibility? We all got some responsibility. When it was time to clean at home, I had to clean.
Mhm.
My mother didn't care how tired I was or how late I stayed up the night before. My great grandmother surely didn't.
Mm-hmm.
We all have a responsibility to cultivate learners before kindergarten. Brittany has this thing. They don't know how to tie their How old are they? They don't know how to write their name. That's why I said, what things do our kids need to know before kindergarten? And I remember Deanna was like, well, first they got to be loved on before we can even get to that part. Because some of them, they come so hard at kindergarten. They already come with walls up because of the way they've been dealt with at home.
Right.
So that's a huge part of it too. What do our kids need to know? What do we need to be teaching them at home? And how does love play into that? Like, so I really want us to deal with that too. I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did like that. Somebody
named,
somebody said Shanice Johnson said preach Kalista, whoever that was.
That's
okay.
Our community reads vice president.
Okay, all right. So all right. And Peggy said, say that, Kalista. Okay, so you on that. I thought when Sister Deanna had grabbed the microphone, I thought she was gonna tell you that conversate wasn't a word and the proper word was converse.
I definitely was not.
You grabbed the microphone. But anyway, conversate has been added into the English lexicon and it is now a word now, as opposed to it was first used in 1845 when it became a word in the Philadelphia newspaper. So we can use the word conversate as opposed to converse. However,
thank you.
So yes, yeah. Anyway, Sister Deanna, you did grab that microphone. Go ahead, sister.
Yeah. I just wanted to keep going back to as far as parenting.
Okay.
A lot of times, most of the time, this is happening because that's the way that they were parented.
Okay.
We're far removed from the parents that put in that extra time because it is a lot of work. Parenting is a lot of work. It's a lot of work that a lot of people are not willing to do or don't know how to do anymore. And that's the biggest thing. People are speaking to children the way they were spoken to. And that is what's happening. And that's all they know. They think that that's the way you're supposed to toughen them up, make them prepared for the world. This is what I was told. This is what my mother would say to me very harshly. You know, I'm not going to sugarcoat things because I can die today or tomorrow and I need you to be prepared for the world. She was very blunt, very, the product of the other side of me, I will honestly say it came from the Cosby Show. Because I felt like it has to be another way. You know, even I remember young, 8, 9, 10, and I would tell her with the B word that we're saying we're not going to say, you didn't name me that, please don't call me that. That was me then. And then I'm looking at television like, that's not the way Bill Cosby, that's not the way he took
Dr. Huxtable,
his kids.
Okay, all right, I got you. Okay. All right.
And she was looking at me like, shut up, great, bye. Like, we don't live in that world.
Right.
But we do live in that world. It's the world that we're creating, you know, but to her, we did not live in that world. That's fantasy. That's fantasy. I'm preparing you for when you walk out that door and someone else calls you that. That was her mentality. So being able to reach the parents and let them know it is a way that you're still preparing your child for the world. That is the world. And sometimes they don't know the world beyond their neighborhood, beyond what they see and what they hear, because sometimes that's all you might see and hear. So it's like that other stuff don't exist. That's fantasy world. That's not realistic to speak to your child in a certain way and they respond. You can't speak to your child in a certain, they will respond.
They will respond.
But they don't think that they will. They think that you have to speak to them in that way in order to get their attention.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass, if you pass over to Brother Eric. I recently got into a Facebook debate, which almost turned it into an argument because I don't believe that children should suffer from corporal punishment. You've seen that, right? That's me. And the reason why I don't believe in that is because when you possess a vocabulary and you possess empathy and you have patience and you have the proper words to talk to a child, just what you said, they can comprehend, right? And most of the time that parents, in my belief, respond to corporal punishment is because they don't have the proper words to convey the ideology of what they expect from their children to do. And because they don't have the words, then the belt comes out, the shoe comes out, the Hot Wheel track, the ironing cord comes out, and they see they've lost their patience and don't have the words to convey, right? And so that becomes on, right? And what you were just sharing in a proper nurturing environment, and with the ability to understand, a child doesn't have those words to convey what they're feeling and what they're thinking. They act and do what they do in a small environment. You know, you done got mad because they done knocked off that doggone ashtray on the table that you got for the Dollar Tree that only cost us 95 cents. Now you want to beat the hell out of the kid because he done broke that little dollar cheap ass damn statue that you got on there. Now you want to whoop him. Leave my stuff alone. He always touching my stuff. Children are natural explorers.
They are.
You get what I mean? So why not create a healthy environment for the explorer in, instead of turning your house into a museum of Dollar Tree stuff? You get what I mean? Anyway. We I go there. Anyway, we need to speak to our children in a way that we expect them to receive, believe, and accept. That from Peggy Smith. We're up to an hour, and I just try to respect your time. You feel what I'm saying? And I know them chairs ain't comfortable. Yeah, I mean, I know that, but I believe, are on the most important topic I believe there is, because you have to know how to read. I'm sorry, I don't care what you do in life. Even if you're gonna be a dope man, you got to know how to read. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'm not saying that, I'm just putting it out there. You got to know how to read if you're going to be a brain surgeon, if you're going to be a janitor. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with being a janitor. There's nothing wrong with being a custodian, a street sweeper, because those are professions. Yeah. And they do require a level of professionalism to understand. You have to understand pushing that broom. There's a certain way you push it, and there's certain things of cleanliness that have to be adhered to. Yeah. Get what I'm saying? So you have to read. You have to know how to read. You just do, and comprehend. Okay. Yeah. So like I said, we're coming up on that time, right? And I want to respect that time just for you. And Shelby Tour said, dang, not the $1.25 now. Oh, it is now. Anyway, I'm gonna give it a round, start with Brother Eric, and we're gonna end with Kalisa to close us on out. But before we do, and just in case I forget, Kalisa, set us up again because we need to continue these conversations, okay? And even though I joke, I take reading very, very serious. I just add humor to it, to add entertainment, to keep people engaged. That's just my way I do this. This is my sister. I love her to death. You get what I'm saying? But that's just how we communicate back and forth with each other. That's our banter, right? But I need to have y'all back. But before we go back around again, Brother Brown, I'm gonna drop this on you. We're gonna go in here, right? And I don't know who said this first. Many people quoted this, but it says that he who controls images controls mind. He who controls images controls mind. And we need to shift our paradigm in the way that we see things. Beginning with your 5K run, and then when each one of you specialty level dealing with reading in your own ways, how can we change the paradigm, make reading more attractive, and understanding that he who controls image controls mind? I want to throw that out there. Go with you, Brother Brown.
First of all, I want to appreciate everyone for being here today, Kalisa for putting this together, and everyone else who's on the panel. And that's a very interesting quote, because we are those that control everything, and also can control the mind. One of the biggest problems I'm always having when I address and talk to people is this notion that someone is coming to save us. No one is coming to save us. We have to save ourselves. I talk about that a lot on my Facebook post. The hell with politicians. They want your vote. They don't give a damn about you. They couldn't even tell your name. And if we're not willing to do what's necessary to save ourselves, why is it we're always expecting to be saved?
There you go. Okay.
And it just amazes me. I am very adamant about the fact of being Black. And Brian Griffin always talks about being unapologetically Black.
Griff out there today.
And one thing about that is, doing this journey I've been on, I get more calls for assistance from people that don't look like me than I do from Black people. And I think people need to really hear that, because even once I start advertising the 5K Ypsilanti, I have a person that does not look like a single person in his room that's the head of a parents group of U of M students that want to volunteer on the 20th of August. That call should have came from my fraternity, any one of the sororities, the Masons, or any other Black group. It came from a white woman. And part of the problem is they have no problem wanting to save us because that's their benevolent thing, you know, liberal white thing.
White savior syndrome. White savior syndrome, right.
But you have to appreciate that because people that look like you, if they're not willing to save us, you get the help where you can. You know, I've organized quite a few peaceful protests. I've done 3 Colin Kaepernick events. Phone calls that I get, emails that I get, white people. And I'm the type, if I'm gonna do something, I don't care if on a daily event, I'm the only one there, I'm still gonna do it because that's my cause, that's my passion. But until we learn how important it is that, you know, we has been a word that has been used throughout this discussion. Until we learn that we are responsible for we, and our destiny is predicated on us being that village, we will still be looked upon as having from others with low expectations. We have to raise those expectations so that it becomes a norm. We can't keep having people, you know, turn on the news, looking at the first, and it's sad now, the first 2 minutes of the newscast used to be about the good things that are going on. Now about the first 7 to 10 minutes is about crime in the community and what we're doing to one another. And then not enough people are taking into consideration those that are giving the stories, even in an urban city like Detroit, a mostly urban city like St. Louis. You can pick almost any urban city in the community. The messengers giving those stories don't look like us.
Yeah.
You know, and I had a conversation, you know, I'm part of the NABJ Detroit chapter. I've had a conversation with many of the reporters. Do not go find the most ignorant damn person in the crowd.
All right. You ain't lying.
You lying. You know, find someone what's the sense. Don't find that person with a bonnet on. Don't find that person with a roach in their mouth. Marijuana is legal, but find someone that you think can convey the message that people will understand. You know, we are our own worst enemy sometimes. You gotta get beyond that. And no one is coming to save us. Say what you want about Kwame Kilpatrick. He said it most eloquently. Ain't nobody coming to save your asses. We gotta do it for ourselves.
Right. Yeah, I think about the lady I see at Speedway with the pajamas on, with the flip flops on, and stuff like that. Yeah, because I know if you got that bonnet on, you got pajamas on. I know you ain't wash your ass before you went up in there.
You know what?
You don't be calling them about Miss Brittany, right? I'm just keeping it 100. Well, we gonna fix the situation, or we gonna talk about it, okay? Miss Brittany. You go ahead. He who controls images controls mind.
I'm just gonna say, leading by example is a big thing. I can't tell you to go do this and you don't see me doing it myself. I can't get you to believe this if I don't believe it myself. You have to be passionate about what you're doing, and just lead by example. Even with the kids that I work with in the middle school, they want to TikTok this and TikTok that and this and that. I love you. We gonna TikTok, but first we gonna read. First we gonna do this math. First we gonna, you know. And I take my homework to school. So while we sitting at the lunch table, let's do our homework together. You might see something I don't see. I don't care if this college this or college that. We can learn from our kids as well. So lead by example.
Okay. Miss Diata. Is it Diata or Dieta? I want to know. Dieta is what I got on Dieta. Okay. All right.
Okay, give me that quote one more time.
Okay.
I'm loving it.
Right, exactly. He who controls images controls mind.
He who controls images controls
or
mind.
She who controls. Yeah, okay.
So everything that I'm hearing around the room all goes back to that, even with the image of who they're showing on television, who they're choosing to go to. But my new phrase for my children is, if you stay ready, or what is it?
If you
stay ready,
and
you'll
don't
never
even
have to
get ready.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the way we show up and being that role model that you're speaking of, everything that we do every single day, we're being the image. So we're representing, and we are the role models for them to replicate. So if that person, if everybody that's standing out there that might be a witness was presentable, that's the image that their child is going to see when they're watching the news.
Right.
You know, and it's been so many controversial conversations about the bonnets and the pajamas, where it's like some people feel like you're free to be you, but that quote alone speaks volumes as to why. Even I'm hearing it. That's my aha moment for the day. You know, as to why we have to always be ready, because you never know who's watching, who sees you, who is. I know I used to look up to older women when I was little, and I would see them with their makeup on and their hair, and I'm like, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. I don't want to do that. When I grew up, I was like 20. I want to be able to get up every day and put makeup on and put. It's 7 o'clock, but that gave me something to aspire to, and I think that the expectations are being lowered.
Okay, lowered expectations.
They're being lowered, and so the children don't have as much to attain to be in order to get to where the level of what they're seeing.
Right.
It doesn't take much to roll out of the bed and put a bonnet on, but it does take some effort to get up and do something to make yourself look presentable. That's showing them responsibility. That's showing them, how do you step out into the world every day? That's showing them, you know, okay, I should get up and get my clothes on in the morning. So.
Okay, Starletta Shinwell said preach. She said she forgot your name, so I'm she said preach. But that quote, as you pass the mic to Sister Sean, that quote, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. You know who that come from? That's from a Compton pimp by the name of Sugar Free. Said if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Okay.
Probably had to change his
I'm like, no, I know that if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. But it's what he was telling. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Miss Sean.
Like Malcolm X said, if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for anything.
That's right. Yeah.
I want to say quickly, unity. We have to stop divisions among African American people about who has what and who looks like what, who sounds what. We are all together. So go to the person, ask for help. Put your money where your mouth is. I support Black businesses, African American businesses. I talk Black. I speak Spanish and French. And I'm African American. I'm not Cuban. I'm not Mexican. I'm not Latina. Why can't Black people speak all kinds of languages?
Yes.
Because we come from the hue of the rainbow, which is our motherland, Africa, which is the beginning of civilization. That's a whole other conversation. And the last thing I want to say is critical thinking skills. If you have critical thinking skills and you teach your children, they won't fall and listen and do whatever and follow the crowd. We want to make our children, we are resilient people, and our children are outspoken and they have so many qualities. So we want to take that in a positive vein and make our children say, don't listen to that, don't fall for that. And I used to teach my children in Inkster real quickly. When I taught there, I taught my middle school children, I said, when you see the police, yes sir, no sir, and walk away. Whatever's going on, walk away. So those are all little tidbits, things that we can do. But ask me, it's a we. Come and ask somebody. Ask that Black person. If they don't help you, go to the next one. If I can't help you, I'll sure lead you to somebody who can.
Well, it's funny you're talking about language, right? English language, like you say, why Black people can't speak it. English is a bastard language in itself. It's composed of French, German, Latin, and other languages. You know what I'm saying? They're all dialects of the most old language there is, which is Bantu. You know what I'm saying? So we are the creators and originators of all, and all come from out of the triple backless. But we can go somewhere else with that another time. I heard you talking over there. You know what I'm saying? So we are the originators, creators, the first frequency people. So when say some people, why can't they speak in any other language? You know what I'm saying? Understand that all languages originated from you anyway. Anyway, Miss Kalista.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Can you hold? Thank you. Okay. So one of the things is, so our community reads, our biggest thing is a community that reads together can grow together, right? And thinking about the statement that you said, I think about Ubuntu. And it's a word that Curtis Wallace, he did a mural downtown FC And I actually have that word tattooed on my arm, and it means I am because we are.
Right.
Right. So when I think about community, when I think about nobody's coming to save us, it's us. It's us. One of my favorite poems is by a guy named Adam. I can't remember his last name, but he says, "We are who we've been looking for. We just didn't realize it." And I want to make sure, because a lot of times people will say, well, we need to do this, we need to do that. But I'm so glad Deanna says so often, a lot of times you don't know how.
Right.
You don't even know where to start. And I know we don't like feeling stupid. That's a horrible feeling. I sat in a training, and this was at school, and they asked us to do some type of thing. We had to write something down and use our creativity, which I don't feel like the most creative person. So it was a challenge for me. And I saw all these other educators in the room writing stuff down. And I was sitting there like, am I supposed to know how to do that? And when I tell you the blanket of shame that settled on me, just like that, and I'm grown. And I sat there and I wanted to raise my hand, and anybody who knows me know I asked a gazillion questions. I wanted to raise my hand and say, how can somebody take, I couldn't. Like my arm felt like lead. And in that moment, God was like, this is how kids feel when they're in a classroom and they don't feel like they can be successful. We always say, just ask. It's not that easy. It's not that easy. They asked us to do it again, like about 5 minutes later. And then she finally said, and it's possible you guys don't know how to do this. You haven't been trained. Something broke, and I told my testimony. I said, I've been sitting here riddled with shame because I didn't know how to do it, and I didn't have the courage to ask. And so one thing that I'm really strong about is I believe give people resources. So I don't know where the camera is, but we have these like Brittany had told me, we didn't get a chance to mention it, but the $1.25 store.
I was talking about the trinkets.
It's okay.
Okay, right.
We're just gonna go past that.
Yeah, that did make me mad when the stuff went out to $1.25. Now I'm gonna tell you like that. Okay, right.
Okay, so getting sight words. Lavisa Brown, who I adore, I went to her house like last year, and for her granddaughter who was going into 2nd grade, I think, she had these up on a wall, and she says, I change them out every week and we go over them. It's important to have words around your house.
Right.
It's important if you're doing a recipe. I know a lot of us can really cook. That's not my testimony, but a lot of us can really cook, and we cook from scratch. But if you do recipes, read your recipe out loud. Tell your babies to come in and read the recipes out loud. On chairs, like put little pieces of paper, make it a game. Chair, and you're never too young to learn how to read. There's all kind of books. I got these at the dollar store. You know what I'm saying? There's different levels. And if it's a struggle for you to read, there's all kind of YouTube channels that will help you sound out words in the privacy of your own home. You never have to feel embarrassed that you're an adult with 4 kids and you don't know how to read. That's your business. If you don't want to go get help, YouTube has a video to teach you everything from putting in a toilet to learning how to read.
But you also have to show your kids that you can ask for help so that they can ask
There you
for help.
go.
That part.
Yep.
That part. And so below this thing, I'm going to put links where people can go if they want to go find free things to help their kids learn how to write, learn how to tie your shoe, because I'm trying to think what things your kids should know before kindergarten. Y'all just shout it out, like tying your shoe, knowing your alphabet, sounds, how to sound out words, how to count up to what?
How to count
before kindergarten, how to count up to 20?
I was thinking 100.
100? Okay. And so like if you practice these things with them at home, you're creating a learner.
Right.
You're creating a learner, a mind that can learn. Have them sit for 30 minutes to an hour a day, find games. If you don't know how, like friend me on Facebook and I'll send Brittany your way and she can give you some games.
Exactly. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because we are not just here talking about it.
Right.
Like I have a 25-year-old and a 21-year-old son, and I can't tell you how many young men I've seen that went to school with my oldest son since they were little, and their life is not going how they wanted it to. Our kids are hopeless, a lot of them, and we don't create and you know, we don't say it's okay to be struggling emotionally. I don't need no therapist. I'm cool. dude, you get high constantly.
Yes, there is something
You're
wrong.
not cool. There's
no.
you drink.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, the community, we are here. This is not just talk.
Mhm.
I'm not just talk. Like, when I put all this stuff on my Facebook, I say it because the stuff that I'm seeing is breaking my heart.
Yeah.
And I'm Topaz's daughter, so I'm doing what I know she would want me to do.
Yeah.
So
let me say one more thing, Bryan.
Yeah. Go ahead, brother.
I got to one of my fraternity brothers about his criticism.
You stay into it with the with the frat
his criticism
You're
of
right.
parents.
Uh-huh.
And what I told him, I went back to Dr. Martin Luther King, the comment about the boots and the bootstraps. And you're asking a man to lift himself up by the bootstraps when he don't have boots to lift himself up by. And I told this brother, I'm like, you can't ask an uneducated parent to be their educator in the house. So you being an educated Black man, go to the house to help them become a better educator of their kids. You know, so that's one of the things we have to do. We keep talking about community, we keep talking about we keep talking about the village. Well, be that village, walking like you're talking.
Yeah. You know, Topaz was my friend. You know, we had that conversation, right? And I knew her, your mom, long before I knew you. And she, you know, Topaz was all right. When I left here last night, and Dr. Ross says, parents, don't be embarrassed. We are with you.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
When I left out of here last night, I came to set up the studio. I always set it up the night before so I can just come in.
Before Kalisa told you.
Before Kalisa told me, right? Exactly. And that's why we bunched up in the corner. And I have it on videotape. I watched a man die, and I videotaped it. Not helpless watching him die, because the police department, state police, EMU, I believe, HVA, and the fire department was there. And I watched them administer CPR for a half hour. And my biggest responsibility, my role was out there last night, because this is a part of a role of our organization. I had to keep the other men there separated to allow the police to do the work. And they felt as though it was their business to know what they were doing. And I listened to our brothers insult the police officers by telling them to get back, right? Fuck you, man. I ain't got to go nowhere. Hey, bro, it's all on. I'll show you the videotape. I'll record the whole situation, 35 minutes long last night. Hey, bro, step back, man. Let these people work. Let they do their thing. The police officer, it was one police officer down there who he wanted to take somebody's ass to jail, and I recognized him. But I separated him. I got in between him and the other guys, let them know I've got this, right? But I'm listening to the dialogue, and I'm listening to the unlearnedness. You understand what I'm saying? I'm listening to the substance abuse, but I'm listening to the mental illness. You know, when the situation was over with and it was done, I walked them from the bus station down to the beer cooler, and all of them apologized and thank you, OG, for being with me, and whoopty whoop whoop whoop. And what I recognize is that in the basic humans, as humans, we have a basic need to want to know and a basic need to want to share information. We want to know and we want to share information. And what we do to our children at an early age is we stunt them from wanting to know. As I made the analogy about touching my little dollar store trinket. Keep your hands off of my stuff. Leave my stuff alone. And we stunt them from wanting to learn at an early age, when we should be nurturing them to explore them. Brother Brown said, I'm unapologetically Black. White people let their kids go in the stores and touch things. They let them walk around in the park and feel and touch things. What we say, keep your hands off them people's shit, because I'm not paying for nothing. And we beat them and we stunt their growth from wanting to learn. No, we shouldn't be in there allowing kids to ravish people's stores and ravish people's homes, but we should be able to have the dialogue and conversation to understand what you're doing, what you are not doing. Children are a lot more intelligent than what we give them credit for.
Yes.
And so the basic need, like you say, to want to know something, and you said something, I'm conclude with that. You see all those certificates and awards that Sister Brittany got her first on top of my stuff like that.
Well, I didn't have space because
but all of those, yeah. But no, I'm kidding. But all those are not certificates, but the certificates of the boards and commissions that I sit on for the city of Ypsilanti. And I'm sitting in there with highly educated people, embarrassed because they are talking about things that I don't have a clue what they talk about, right? So I'm sitting in front of my laptop computer. And what I'm actually doing is I'm looking up the words as they speak them. Yeah. And then I figured out what's going on in here, and then I'll be able to reply back and respond back to them. You get what I'm saying? Use that word thesaurus earlier today. And I began to understand, right? These people ain't smarter than me. They're just using words I don't understand. Right? So that desire to read that I was telling you about was instilled in me in an early age. My inquisitiveness wasn't stunted. And so you as educators, I encourage y'all as we lead the show, is to continue to do what y'all doing and stoke that inquisitiveness into our children so they're able to learn in a healthy, productive environment. So that's all I got to say this afternoon. Calista, if you will, please get this group back together soon so we can do this, even when we have to do it on a regular basis, because we got to do repetition. The children aren't out there listening to Ear to the Ground 197. The parents are. Yeah. And there's more people out here, I'll begin to learn, Brother Brown, that are listening to you and I, Calista, and you young ladies, than what we know that's out there. How do I know? Because I go out into the streets and they tell me, I seen you on the show, Calista. Brother Brown, you know, I don't agree with Brother Brown all the time, but the brother got a point. Yeah. Repetition. Yeah. So with that all being said, it's Sunday, the church is out there, and as the pastor say, if all hearts and minds are clear, we can go on out. We want to thank y'all for tuning in to the special Sunday edition of Ear to the Ground 197. I want to thank my special guests there and singling her out, like I said, my sister Calista Walker, for bringing these beautiful, highly intelligent people on today. Sister Dr. Zachary Ross says, let us put us out there, call us out. We're not smart. Dr. Ross been putting in this chat since the show started. And you know what she kept on saying? She's saying, call us out. She done probably put it in. Go back and read the comments. I think she done put it on at least 4 times. Call us out. And what she's asking for, I believe, is she is asking the community to hold the educational system accountable. Thank you. And with that being said, all power to the people, and we'll see y'all next Saturday. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Camera's still rolling, but like I said, this is my show. I roll it out. All right.
You know, we should create, like, do you have a
either one of you make it on the 20th?
You know,
5 days will be in Eastern Michigan.
Okay, because I want to do a resource page.
Okay.
From 9 to noon.
I want to try with just the thing, but I do have links that parents can go to.
Okay. Okay. All right. Let's do it together.
Okay.
Yeah. You got it. You see how quick you got to do it, but I ain't got the education.
9 to noon, yes. Some, you know, that parent group from U of M.
Okay.
August 20th. You can, that's on the flyer. I'm sorry. You can put the flyer on the grid so people know about the 5K on August 20th.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank y'all attending. I'm sorry for the, I'm joking, I'm funny guy. I know them chairs is uncomfortable, but we had to fit in this one. Yeah, I know, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that was Athena.
That ain't Athena.
That's not her.
That's LJ Reynolds. Ear to the ground. I mean, Key to the World. That's his niece. Key to the World. Melodramatics. That's the LJ's niece. That's Alicia Reynolds. That's my theme song, obviously. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, that's a bad song.
I know it is.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Yes,
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. All right. You get back on here soon. So does Ryan. Well, we gotta get Ryan on here before he starts going back and forth.
Yeah, we start going back to the football game.
Yep.
I'm so glad Elena's going to
Thank you. Yeah, she was there. She through the whole show.
I see.
Seriously, she come.
She listen to your show all the time.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
She was in here all day. Yeah.
That's what's up. Because she's a pastor. Right?
Yeah, that's why I asked her was she supposed to be in church. Yeah. Tracy told me to leave you alone about your afro. And it's now, yeah. But it's beautiful. Now it's beautiful. Yeah. Okay. All right.
I had you know Nicole Johnson.
Who?
Nicole Johnson.
Just a second. Yeah.
You want me to step over
Yeah.
there?
Now you good.
Okay.
See y'all next week, and I'm out of here. Okay.
Okay, Nicole Johnson. She works for Washtenaw County.